It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? And it really doesn't matter what you say.
And what's up, everybody? Hope everyone's having a good Thursday. Welcome to 1 week before Thanksgiving Day, November 18th. It's a good day. It's a long one. Psych 3 came out on Peacock today. Unfortunately, though, it's for premium members, which pisses me off. I'm a huge fan, of course, as I mentioned. I'm not paying to see one film. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not. It's ridiculous, but anyway. Be sure to hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. We can just hang out for a bit, talk. Turned in my fourth essay in my English class today, and I've done pretty good with those so far. Honestly, someone's messaging me. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. They played this song on the radio the other day, and I'm gonna play it for you guys. First off, I'll go ahead and drop the link. Let's just hang out. Let's talk some sports. Let's talk some smack. Just have some fun, honestly, overall, and just hang out like we do. I love all you guys. But I'm gonna play this song. It's by a guy, Connor Smith. It's called I Hate It's called I Hate Alabama. Now, if you're an Alabama fan like me out there and you hear this, you probably would get pissed off at this song. It baffles me. I mean, it's laughable to me, you know, that this guy went out and wrote a song about how much he hates the Crimson Tide. I think it's funny. I'll put the link to it. Again, I don't own this, but it's become a pretty, believe it or not, it's been a viral song this year. It's got almost 100,000 views on this guy's channel, and it hasn't even been up 2 months. Or at least this is the unofficial music video that he has. The let's see. Well, I don't know. The one where he's actually singing it and you can see him, he's got like 271,000 views. I don't know. Jeff, come on. It's laughable. And in fact, it's mostly about him losing a girl anyway. That's the thing. Like, he is saying stuff in this song that nobody, like, it's nothing new. It is laughable as hell. If anyone wants to join the stream too, feel free to. Listen to some of this, at least some of it. But this is like, look at this. I love Leonard Skinner. Lord, I hate Sweet Home. What? And I think it took me a little while to hear this song. He says something like, ever since 06, they get us every season. I think he's a Tennessee fan. But here's the chorus. I'm at least going to play the chorus. This is funny.
I wish I could say that's the only reason. I hate Alabama. I hate Crimson Red. And I hate how they yell all on time when I got a Braves hat on my head.
Good grief.
And I love Leonard Skinner, but Lord, I hate Sweet Home. Cause when I hear it, all I see is a girl of houndstooth gone in the stands of Tuscaloosa. Might have lost by 22, but I hate Alabama, cause that's where I lost you.
Okay, so that's the chorus right there. But I mean, it took me a little while to realize that it's more so a breakup song. But he kind of went in. I think it was partially a jab at the Crimson Tide, you know, because he's like, yeah, I hate Crimson, whatever. But you know, he says, "I hate Alabama." That's where I think it was because he lost his girl or whatever. Jeff says that's awesome. Play it. I'll play. Okay, I'm gonna play the whole song. I also dropped the StreamYard link. If anyone wants to join in, feel free to. Let's talk some sports, but I'll play the whole song for you guys here. And again, I'll drop the link. What's up, Dominic? You want to hear this?
What?
You want to hear this?
Sure.
Okay. This is Connor Smith. I hate Alabama. I put the link in the comment section if y'all want to go check it out. I don't own this, but I hope I don't get copyrighted. Here we go.
Yeah.
He's a Tennessee man too.
Now I understand why.
But again, like it's about losing a girl. So if you think about it.
Wow.
Start one game every year where I drink a little more beer. It's over for it's over. We go there or they come here.
And it's about the Vols.
So 06, they get us every season. I wish I could say that's the only reason. I hate Alabama, I hate Crimson Red, and I hate how they yell on top when I got a Braves hat on my head. And I love Leonard Skinner, but Lord, I hate Sweet Home. Cause when I hear it, all I see is a girl of houndstooth gone in the stands of Tuscaloosa. Might have lost by 22, but I hate Alabama, cause that's where I lost you. I drove there every weekend. The Vols weren't home to kneeling. Girl, you had this Tennessee and seeing 10 years down the road. Then you had to go and break my heart in a big can't cover frat house yard. I guess some things work and some things don't. And I guess some things change, but one thing won't. I hate Alabama, I hate Crimson Red, and I hate how they yell all tired when I got a Braves hat on my head. And I love Leonard Skinner, but Lord, I hate Sweet Home. Cause when I hear it, all I see is a girl of houndstooth gone in the stands of Tuscaloosa. Might have lost by 22, but I hate Alabama, cause that's where I lost you. That's where I lost you.
It's just really quick too. It's
that drink, forget your name and just be mad about the game. When I say
Blake Sims, God.
I hate Alabama, I hate Crimson Red, and I hate how they yell all tired when I got a Braves hat on my head. And I love Leonard Skinner.
Oh no. Okay. We don't need to see this next play here, but y'all get the chorus at the very least. I'm gonna admit, credit to this Connor Smith. That's not a bad song. I don't
Agreed.
know if I could listen to it. I don't know if I could truly like. There's part of me that wants to sing along, but I love the Crimson Tide, so I don't know if I want to sing along to it. You know.
But man, the Washington football team played the Carolina Panthers on Sunday.
Did you win? Did you beat them? Because I
Um,
know, I know Cam Newton's back.
No, they play them this Sunday.
Oh, they play him this week.
Yeah, this week.
What's up, Jeff?
What's up, Jeff?
That song
Oh,
kicked
God.
butt.
It
kicked,
did.
it
Mhm.
kicked butt. It's a girlfriend breakup song,
Right.
but he's tying losing her into the
With the-
pain of losing to Alabama.
And I think he kind of
he's
put
got-
in there
and
too
he-
that he's a volunteer fan. He mentioned Neyland.
Right. And he's got the highlights on of the 8 or 9 games they've lost in 12 years.
It actually
so,
was really good.
so he's had to go and cherry pick the highlights, which is what you would expect, So, and of course, the other team rushes the field because that's what you do when you beat Alabama. That's your Super Bowl, beating Alabama. It goes down as one of the greatest wins in the entire history of your university.
I agree.
When you beat Alabama, where when Alabama beats you, it's just Saturday. And so, yeah, I mean, I say this all the time in the streams. I want to be hated.
Right. Like, it's one of those weird songs. It's weird for me, though, because it's very catchy. I want to sing the damn song,
Yeah.
but I don't mean what I'm saying.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
catchy. And I think I heard it.
Yeah.
They don't play it on the radio that much, but when it came out, they played it. And I'm like, oh, here we go. A crybaby whining about the tide. And that's what's so cool is, like, I just kind of sit there and hear it. And if I don't feel like singing along, I'm just like, aw, you poor little soul. You're just like every other college football fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And even if he hadn't tied in losing the girl, even if he had just been about the football team,
Right.
or whatever. I mean, look at Brad Paisley. Give me some old time Alabama. He's completely talking about the band Alabama.
Yes.
But you could take that and make that, give me some, So it's, I really enjoyed that. I'm glad you played it. I'm glad I heard it. Connor Smith. I'm going to remember that. That's
yeah. I put the link in the comments. So, and if anyone missed it or wants to go find it or share it out, dude,
she's wearing houndstooth in the crowd in Tuscaloosa. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, it has blown up. I saw this. I'm trying to remember where I found it. Again,
How old is it?
They
How
played
old-
it on the radio. It is
How old is it?
well, at the very least, he released that was the unofficial music video that came out September 30th. So I mean, it hasn't even been 2 months. He put that out
Okay, so this
beginning of the
is
season.
this is a new song. Yeah.
I mean, as a Virginia Cavaliers fan, I respect Alabama as a Virginia fan.
Okay.
I really do.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Speaking of the Cavaliers, they play Pitt in college football this Saturday, which I'm really nervous about
That'll
that
be
game.
That might be interesting, actually.
Yeah, it will be, but I'm not too sure if Virginia's going to get the dub in that game.
They got a name for the winners in the world. I want the name when I lose. They call Alabama the Crimson Tide. And call me Deacon Blues. Deacon Blues. Famous song by Steely Dan called Deacon Blues, where in the chorus he says, they call Alabama the Crimson Tide.
Yeah.
Oh, did I ever show you this one, Jeff? This one's actually a positive one. It's called Rock and Roll Tide, and it's awesome.
Oh, yeah,
I've heard of that. I've heard of that.
I've
song.
seen
It's
Rock
absolutely
and
lit.
Roll Tide. Yeah,
I gotta play this one. This one's good too. This one's
I've seen that.
yeah. All right.
I'm watching the
You're watching what?
I'm watching the Iowa Class A football state championship game right now. I watched the 8-player game this morning. Now I'm watching the Class A.
That's awesome.
And the first game was a good game. It was 42-40. Come down to the last play.
Ooh, nice.
Shootout. Good shootout there.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like. Yeah. Okay, here's this one. This one's really awesome. I saw that extension too.
Dad taught me everything about the bear and the way we used to win, and the glory. We thought we'd seen it all, but then Saban came to right the world. Another story. Some people scream, hey, it's just a game. But I've found my team, and I'll never be the same. Rock and roll tide, Alabama's pride. Rock and roll tide, till I die. St. Nick works every day. All he asks is that everybody gives everything. We had Mark and Derek too. They're both gone, but they left the program strong, wearing rings. Some brutal day, Saban's story ends, but we'll be okay.
Don't you worry, my crimson friends.
Rock and roll tide, Alabama's pride.
Rock and roll tide till I die. Yeah.
Rock and roll tide, Alabama's
Oh, damn.
rock and roll tide, till I die.
Hold on. I want to double check real quick what they were just showing with these. Is that not the 92? That one at the top, is that Florida we're playing right there? It looks like it could be. I can't. But anyway, it's so cool, this video, that like the song is great, and it's cool seeing all the great highlights of like some Iron Bowls and everything. It's amazing.
Rock and roll tide, Alabama's pride. Rock and roll tide, till I die.
2nd and 26 though.
Rock and roll tide, Alabama's pride. Rock and roll tide, till I die.
chase that man. Nice. God, I love that song. LW said he hated it. I'm not sure if Jeff's trying to speak, but he's muted. But
That was kind of, I've heard that song before. It's kind of lame. It's somebody trying to make a name for themselves, but I appreciate the sentiment.
yeah. This is interesting. Feinbaum tweeted out and retweeted some tweet, but what Feinbaum put was our fans and admins, like administrators or whatever, too quick to abandon coaches and pay big buyouts in the process. Joel Anderson joins us now to talk about it. And what that guy quoted out, he said, it doesn't seem tenable for every mid-tier Power 5 school to fire their coaches on a $12 million buyout for going 5-7. Most of these schools don't have the right to believe they deserve better. Okay. I mean, now I'll say this. I have noticed that for certain schools, the firing of coaches has become a little faster. I mean, Chad Morris. Let's go back to Arkansas real quick. Okay, they got Sam Pittman now, but how long was Chad Morris there before he got out? I mean, he was there for maybe 3 years or so. I mean, even though he wasn't doing anything, it's like, it seems like one really bad season in your first year and you're out of there. At least it's getting to that point. But I don't know. I mean, they're already talking about trying to fire Sarkisian. He hasn't even completed his first season. But
Who's in the comment section? Who's in the comment section? The Haunt Crew. LW's in here. Get in the room, LW.
Rick Sanchez. But yeah, I mean, what do you think, Jeff? I mean, our schools, are they too quick to fire a coach now? Are they, it just seems like coaches are getting fired more quicker, I guess. When Auburn fired Malzahn, I mean, that was he had already been there, but I've heard Texas people talk about it's time to go ahead and cut Sarkisian, which I think is stupid.
Well, Sarkisian should have never been hired. I said that when it happened because you look at what he's done as an offensive coordinator, fine. But look at the wreck he made of Washington and USC when he had control of the program.
Yeah. He's just a coordinator, I guess. I mean, I could see that. I mean, even
My concern for Texas hiring Sarkisian was not the wins that he would compile, but the recruits he would stop Alabama from being able to get out of the state of Texas. That was my concern.
Oh,
Not that all of a sudden Texas would be a 10-2, 11-1
Powerhouse.
team every year. I didn't see that happening. Even if they stayed in the Big 12, I didn't see that happening.
oh yeah. But I mean, even with like, well, okay, I'll say this. I mean, I was gonna say Scott Frost, but he's still there, which he shouldn't be, in my opinion. If you're Nebraska, he should have already been gone. But still, like, I think it's just one of those, because you got to think of what Texas is. Historically, they're amazing. They're a great program. And you look at, like, I'm trying to think, like Florida. Okay, Dan Mullen's really screwing up this year. Well, he's only been there 4 years. He just won you the East. That's what you wanted him to do. But he doesn't care about recruiting. He doesn't, like, is it too soon to pull the plug on Dan Mullen after he just won you the East? I mean, if it wasn't for his attitude, I'd say keep him and see what he can do. But because he has this attitude of he doesn't care about recruiting, it shows that he's not invested in the program, then yeah, I'd fire him like that. But this whole firing a coach after his second year or whatever because he won one less game or didn't win a bowl game or didn't, I think it's kind of ridiculous. I mean, there's a line that has to be drawn for stuff like that, I think.
I think you got to give a coach a minimum of 3 years. You give him his first year, he's just
Right.
getting acclimated to the program.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's if you're not promoting from within. If you bring somebody in from outside, he's got to get used to everything. He doesn't even know where the McDonald's are in town.
Right.
Okay. So he's got to get used to everything. And then you give him his first year. That's his first year getting recruits. By the end of his third year, you can start to see
Where
he
he's really
wants
at.
to go.
Yeah.
Where he's getting the trend. And now the team is half his and half whoever he took over for. The fourth year, then you can start making a decision. But if I was an AD and I brought a guy in, unless he does something crazy like he gets caught with some co-ed in a hot tub or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless there's extenuating circumstances, I think you've got to give a coach at least 3 years, at least.
I agree. I'd agree to
And
that.
you've got to know that when you're hiring, and that's got to be part of your equation. I'm living with this guy for at least 3 years. Whatever happens, we're biting the bullet. We're giving him 3 years.
That's true. But I also think, like, okay, we're in year one. If you look at Auburn, year one with Brian Harsin.
Okay,
And if you ask me, I think they're at least better than I thought they would be going into the season. Now, is it what you want? I think for a first-year head coach, sure. But let's say they drop and they have like this god-awful 3-9 season next year. Let's hope so. Does that mean he's going to get fired? No, I don't. Well, I wouldn't think so. I would. The point I was going to try to make, like, let's say right now they were 3-9 or 5 whatever, or they finished that this year was their record. Okay. Auburn, now they're not Alabama. Yeah, they've won a championship in recent history. If you want to go back to 2010, whatever, but it's one of those programs where still they're good enough to where they should be having, at the very least, I think 8-4 or better. If they're really at their best and a good team looking for a good season. So, like, and even Malzahn was able to do that. It just was.
If I'm calling the shots on the plains of hell,
Yeah.
I want my coach to win me at least 8 games a year.
Right.
And what I want is I want to beat Alabama 3 times every 10 years.
Okay.
If you
And
can beat
that's
Alabama,
so basically what Malzahn did.
right. If you can win 8 to 10 games and beat Alabama 3 times out of 10,
Yeah.
and then who knows, one of those 8-win teams might blow up into an 11-win team, but I don't want less than 8.
Right.
And that's because I understand who I am and I understand the situation I'm in. Auburn is, for as much as I hate them, and the Lord knows that I have an unchristian hate and an unhealthy hate for Auburn.
Same
But
here.
here's the deal.
Same here.
Here's the deal. Stepping away dispassionately, if Auburn was, let's say, Montgomery Tech, and
Yeah.
you're asking me to explain the situation with Montgomery, up the road in Tuscaloosa, you've got the program, the tradition, the university of college football. Okay. Not far away in Florida, I've got to deal with Florida State and Florida, who are going to take some of the kids I want. Not far away, I got LSU, and then plus I got to deal every single year with Georgia.
Yes.
And look what they're doing now.
Of
So
course.
I'm in a tough recruiting spot, and I've got LSU I got to deal with every year too. So I'm in a tough recruiting spot and a tough victory spot. So knowing that, if you can come in and give me 8 one year, 10 the next, then 9, then 8, then 8, then 9, and you give me 3 wins in a decade against Alabama, you're my man.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, I do want the kids to graduate, and I don't want any legal bullshit going on either. I want the program clean.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm talking about on the football field. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I mean, I mentioned, this whole Florida's going to fire Dan Mullen or should.
There's Neil. Neil, come in and join us, man. As you can see by looking, we got plenty of room.
Yeah. For Florida, this whole Dan Mullen, I really think by firing Grantham like he did 2 weeks ago, and just growing a set of balls to do that, does that save his job? I think it lowers the jeopardy of it, but look, he just won the SEC East last year. It was great. Maybe the record, they were a better team than the record showed. Okay, it wasn't all that great a record, but you finally beat Georgia. It was year 3 of Mullen. He's in year 4 now. My thing is, I don't know if you're Florida, I don't think you should fire Dan Mullen right away after this season. Now, his recruiting comments and everything, which actually kind of think, don't fire him because of the way the season's going. He's the guy that you fire because of his attitude. He just doesn't care about recruiting. What?
Here's what I have to think is the case in Gainesville. I have to think that they've made up their mind. I mean, here's the reverse of the situation. Who do they got left? They've got Florida State and let me see who Florida's got left. Let me pull it up here. Florida football schedule 2021. I know they've got, all right, let's see. Florida's at Missouri this Saturday, and then next Saturday they host Florida State. Okay, that's Florida's last 2 games. Here's what I'll say. If you haven't already made up your mind, if you're going to say, well, let's see how we do in these 2 games, then you don't deserve to be the administration. Nothing that happens in these 2 games should change how you feel about Dan Mullen. If they win these 2 games, you shouldn't all of a sudden go, oh, hey, we're 7-5 and start to feel all good about yourself. And if they get beat, are you going to be surprised that they lost one or two of these games and suddenly you're down on Denver? I think the decision's already been made.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I just stepped back in the room and all I heard was something about like the games lost, but I heard. I guess you were talking about Dan Mullen.
Yeah, and I'm not going to repeat myself if the host isn't going to be paying attention.
No, I'm sorry. I had to take something out of the oven.
Now, reports out of East Lansing today
Yeah,
are that
all
the Spartans got spooked by LSU making an offer to Lincoln Riley.
Mm.
And so now they might be in and this is supposed 10 years, $9.5 million each from Mel Tucker. Now I think it's a bullshit report.
Uh-huh.
I think it's something that Michigan State has leaked just to get out in the media that those talks have not really happened. But there you go. These dominoes start to fall. One guy goes here, and then all of a sudden, this other guy looks good here, and then, you know. But it's an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
I think Florida has to fire Dan Mullen. I don't see any way around that.
Well, I mean, like I was saying, it's all coaching is not just about the wins. It's about attitude and just call. I mean, Chess has said it. He's a clown. I don't know if I'd call him a clown, but he damn sure seems like he don't care. Like he does. Oh, we're not focused on recruiting right now. It's not time to It's recruiting is 24/7. I said this in my video a few weeks ago, talking about his comments. I said, look, the players. You don't think the players that are, if there's not now. I guarantee you. But the ones that at the time, maybe before his comments, that thought about going to Florida, you don't think they listen to your pressers and hear your comments and everything? He basically sold the program to the devil. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, you have to be able to recruit. Even your boy Nick Saban, the old athletic director Al Moore, even
I would
said
agree with this.
when they picked him up on the plane from Florida, Nick Saban told him, I might not be the best coach, but I'm the best recruiter there is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's practically the bloodline of college football. You know what I mean? Like, it's what college football is. I mean, if you're not recruiting, you're not getting players, you don't have a team, you know? And we talk talent and everything. I mean, they're not asking Dan to get 5 stars and really just recruit in a way that's good for Florida. We're not asking him to have the #1 class. We're not saying beat Georgia every single year, but get it to the point where you can compete and say, yeah, we're pretty close to it. He's not anywhere close. We say that he can't. I don't think it's necessarily that he can't recruit players. He doesn't want to recruit players. There's a big difference there. If he had the willingness to try that, honestly, I think he might do okay. Not top 15 or anything, but maybe somewhere in the 20 to maybe 40 range in classes for Florida. I guarantee you they're probably somewhere in the 60s right now, aren't they?
I don't know, but they just had 2 big-time recruits flip that were committed to Florida, flip to Georgia. So it's not going good.
I saw that. Yeah. All right. I definitely want to get something in for this game here. Michigan State and Ohio State. Do y'all give the Spartans any chance at all? I like Kenneth Walker this year. Peyton Thorne's looking good. I think, and I haven't been too sold on the Buckeyes defense, although it's looked pretty good. I think this will be one of those ones where the Buckeyes get a little bit of a scare, but they get a stop at the end. I think the Buckeyes will win this.
Right now, Right now, according to 247 Sports, Florida with 13 commits.
Yeah.
Seven of them are 5 stars. They're at number 23, one spot ahead of Iowa State and one spot behind Georgia Tech.
There's no
Yeah.
way they have 7 5-stars. Are you sure that's correct?
No, I'm sorry, 7 4-stars.
Yeah, because if they had 7 5-stars, it'd be
My
number
bad,
one.
my bad. 7 4-stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
This
you,
is a new game here. This is
it's weird when you look at sorry, recruiting rankings too. Like you'll see a 4-star and he's ranked like, in the top 75. And then there'll be a 4-star who's ranked like, 290. So I think they throw stars, the 5-stars are like the freaks, like the like the people that
Right.
are so good they just dominate high school football games against, a bunch of kids that aren't going to college. It's really hard to gauge. But that's where Georgia and Alabama and Clemson have success. Is just get as many 4 or 5 stars as you can, and half of them are going to hit, and half of them don't.
I'm looking at the top 40 here. I'm looking at the top 40 for the class of 2022. Alabama has the number 1 running back at his position and the number 3 quarterback at his position. They have the number 1 edge rusher at his position. They could have the toss-up, the number 3 cornerback and the number 2 cornerback.
Yeah, a kid from USC, the top cornerback, he just decommitted from USC after his visit to Alabama.
Yeah, your top 5 right now are Georgia, Alabama, A&M, Notre Dame, and Penn State. Now, the problem with Penn State is they've got 25 commits, so they're pretty much done. They're not going anywhere. Georgia at number 1 has 22 commits, and Notre Dame at number 4 has 22 commits, so they can't move very much further. But Bama's at 19, and Texas A&M is at 18. So the Georgia fans can crow and yippity yip all they want right now, but Bama's going to pass them. And here's the big thing: the average, the player rater average for Georgia is 92.66, but for Alabama it's 94.24. So, yeah, so Bama will pass, unless something happens, Bama will pass Georgia for the top recruiting class if you go by 24/7.
Yeah.
But A&M's making a nice little push here. Think about Alabama, A&M, and Texas and Georgia right now all have 13 4-stars. 13 4s. Georgia and A&M have 2 5s, and Bama has 3 5s.
yeah.
Well, A&M, they're set to have their best recruiting class ever. Holds up.
The thing that makes the Bama classes is that it's not really close. The gap between Alabama and number 2 and what I'm about to say is very, very large, and that is in the amount of 5-star recruits who come into your program. Now, a 5-star is projected to be a first-round draft choice. No, never mind what they do in the NFL. They're just projected to be a first-round draft choice.
Yeah.
So then you break down what percentages of your 5-stars that actually come to campus actually do end up being first-round draft choice. And Alabama is miles ahead of the second team when it comes to that. And that matters when you're sitting in a living room.
Yeah.
You are almost twice as likely, if you are a 5-star, to end up being a first-round draft choice if you go to Alabama than if you go to Georgia or LSU.
Yeah.
Almost
Because-
twice as likely.
Yeah. And that's just, how Nick Saban is, like star ratings. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say they don't matter, but you can get a 5-star all you want to. If you don't know what you're doing to help develop him to the best of his ability on the field, what good is it going to do you or that player,
Right.
There's a few examples to point to that in recruiting. There was this guy a couple years ago out of Louisiana, Ishmael Softshire or something like that. Big time defensive tackle, 4-star, highly recruited by everybody. Signed with Alabama. Well, he couldn't break the top 3 in the depth chart on defensive line. I mean, he wasn't even on the depth chart. He was so far behind. And he had younger players pass him up, and he transferred to USC this year, and he doesn't start for USC either.
Yeah.
So sometimes, the measurables, when you're 6'4", 320 in junior high school, you're going to get a star by you're going to be a 4-star just because of your size. Now, when they bring you to campus and they see what you have and and you've already hit your ceiling at, high school level, that's stuff that's hard to figure out, some of these recruiting rankings. Like I went to a high school football game here locally a couple weeks ago. There's a 4-star wide receiver that committed to Arkansas. And I was sitting there watching the game, and their quarterback can't throw the ball. So I couldn't see. I didn't see this receiver do anything. So I don't know, because the quarterback was a running quarterback. And he was not very good at passing the ball. So I'm assuming this kid is just getting a 4-star rating because he's fast, his 40 time and stuff like that. Now, who knows when he gets on the field at Arkansas, what will happen with that kid? Because I watched the whole game. He didn't catch a pass. The quarterback couldn't get it to him. So they're definitely not giving him a 4-star based on what he does on the field, because the quarterback can't throw to him. So I'm sure it's just his, how fast he runs and his size, 6'1", 185.
Yeah. Let's see. I want to see what the current. Let's see. Don't forget, we have the early signing day next week, or next month, I should say. Georgia, Bama. A&M's at 3 currently. Damn.
Who's that
Jimbo.
big, Jada? Who's that big defensive tackle Alabama's trying to get? I forget his name.
Oh shoot.
Trying to get now?
Did he commit anywhere? Oh, is it Walter Nolan?
I can't remember his
He's at A&M. He's the number 2 overall.
Yeah,
Travis
Alabama.
Hunter,
Yeah.
Damani Jackson, Travis Shaw. I don't know.
One of the big studs we'll have playing next year, or at least having a chance to play next year, is Deron Payne's little brother. The number 2
Yeah.
player out of the state of Michigan.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm curious to see if. I'm sure he'll probably commit and sign early on. But Ty Simpson, let's not forget about him. The future after Bryce Young. Unless maybe it's going to be Milroe. I don't know. But Ty Simpson's pretty good, man. I'm telling you.
Jalen Milroe is going to be a stud.
Oh, for sure. Look, even Sarkisian, look at this. He's already no 5 stars, but he's already got 22 players committed. Although actually this math 15 and 6 is 21, but still 15 4-stars isn't too bad. He's sitting at number 7 right now and beating out Oklahoma.
Who's that?
Texas with Sarkisian.
Yeah. They got to let him get his players in there.
Yeah, that's true. What's up, Nate? Michigan, I can find them. 17, that's not bad.
I saw last night Virginia Tech has Bill O'Brien on its list for head coaching candidates.
Yeah. That'd be crazy. Florida's got 13 Hey, at least they're in the top 25. Is there anyone as far as recruiting right now for Iowa State that you're looking at?
Not anybody that stands out, and I don't really focus on it too much because there's no point in getting all worked up over recruiting until the signing day.
Yeah.
And I've seen too many. I've seen too many Iowa State recruits disappear. I'll wait and see what happens when we get to that day.
What's up, Nate?
So,
But they've got some
Jeff, is there
coming in that they're not gonna suddenly fall to 2 and 10. I mean, that ain't gonna happen. They're gonna stay a 7 or an 8 win team, and by Iowa State standards, that's good.
Jeff, where do
You have to know who you are.
I know Iowa is a highly populated state, but
Yeah,
is there like a what'd you say?
There's just a little bit more than 3 million people here, not very many.
Wow, I live in a county that has 5 million. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Is
the
there a
whole
high school?
Des Moines metro area is about 500,000, maybe a little bit more than that.
where's
And then
Walter
there's-
Nolan?
2.5 in the whole rest of the state. So yeah, not a lot of people.
Is there like a couple high schools there that Iowa State kind of funnels players through?
Yeah,
I think
there's
IMG might be in that.
Nate. Can I answer him? There's a couple of public high schools in Iowa City, in Des Moines, West Des Moines, Cedar Falls that they go to. and there's one or two pretty large Catholic high schools that a lot of times these linemen and these tight ends that end up at Iowa and Iowa State come out of. But it's more or less, there's about 10 schools that produce most of the Division I players. I mean, you'll have some come from out somewhere else, but, out in the middle of a cornfield playing against light opponent. I mean, it's not just Iowa. I mean, that's the case everywhere. The smaller schools don't generally produce, big time talent. They can, they just don't normally do it.
Yeah.
I would imagine there's a few Texas players that go to Iowa and Iowa State.
Yes, Iowa. Now, not so much Iowa State, but Iowa has a fairly decent recruiting base in the northern part of Texas, around Amarillo, north of Austin, up towards Oklahoma, that part of Texas. They get kids from there, and because Ferentz has some kind of connection with it, they always seem to get 6 or 7 kids out of New Jersey. Now, that's an odd. You think, what's a New Jersey kid doing in Iowa? Ferentz has got some connection over there with New Jersey, and he gets players from there.
Yeah, Saban has that too. You'll see a couple New Jersey players come down to Bama. Nick Fitzpatrick, I think, was one.
Yeah. Yep. Now, when he come up here and he got Ross Piersbacher, a 4-year starter at offensive line, that's the first time Bama's ever given a scholarship to an Iowa high school player. And that was Saban and Mario Cristobal. That was Saban and Mario Cristobal who came up here and recruited him.
Yeah,
Took him from 30 miles from Iowa City and a born and raised Hawkeye fan, and convinced him to come to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Who does Michigan have this week, Nate? Or is Nate still here? No.
Nope, Nate went away.
Oh, it's Slim Shady Kane.
Michigan got Maryland and then Ohio State. Is that who it is?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it is Maryland, I think.
Because Michigan State has Ohio State, and then I don't know who the last game is. But Michigan State, if they pull the upset, they could mess things up in the Big Ten.
Oh, yeah, they can screw it up bad.
What's up, Slim? And we got Nate back here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to make a quick phone call.
What's up, guys?
What's up, buddy?
Hey,
Not
Nate.
much.
Y'all gonna beat Ohio State this year or what?
I'm not sold on it yet. Sorry if I sound really bad, but I just have a really bad headache.
Except for Ohio State fans, wants Michigan to win that game.
Yeah. I mean, Michigan needs to I hate to say this, but Michigan needs to root for Ohio State for this week to Ohio State win against Sparty.
Yeah.
And when Sparty loses, they have 2 losses. So
Yeah, and you also want to play Ohio State with 1 loss.
right. And Michigan has 1 loss, and Ohio State has 0 losses, right? In Big Ten?
In the Big Ten,
yeah. Ohio State.
Yeah, okay. I think it's going to be closer than people think. in the game, but I just think people are so irrelevant by score wise. Like, let's say they say 56-17 Ohio State, which is too high for that game, I would say. But that's the critics for Michigan for you. I think it would be like 35-26 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's closer. It's gonna be closer than people think. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
I think what's
I think
getting
if Full
over,
House.
I think what just about everybody is overlooking is the fact that it probably won't be Iowa. It's probably going to be Wisconsin. Unless Wisconsin loses to Nebraska or Minnesota and Iowa wins out, then Iowa would represent the West.
Well,
but it's probably going to be Wisconsin.
what
Wisconsin
if?
started out real shitty. They started out 1-3.
Yeah.
They ran off 6 in a row, and some of those have been very impressive, and their defense has looked really good.
Yeah.
And of course, we've seen this before. We've seen Wisconsin get in the Big Ten title game and then absolutely lay an egg.
Yeah.
But,
against Ohio State.
Right. But they could. I mean, this is a crazy year. This could be the year where they get in there and you know, they won't be an easy nut to crack, I don't think.
No.
No matter who they play.
Is this year's Ohio State game a must-win for Jim Harbaugh?
I
Or are they
think
going to
so.
get rid of him if they don't?
Yeah.
I don't think they'll get rid of him now because his record's so good. But
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say, Michigan has had most years Harbaugh's been there a pretty good record, and I hate to say that one game would determine it, but I mean, at some point, gotta beat Ohio State.
Yeah. It's kind of like a pattern, like Ballard said in one video, because Ohio State has owned Michigan for 8 seasons now. Yeah. And there's a pattern in this rivalry that what I mean by that is like every 8 years or every whatever, if Michigan, for example, gets like 9 wins streak against Ohio State, which is I don't know what's gonna happen, but who knows. And if that streak ends, then it's Ohio State's turn to return the favor. That's what I'm saying. So, I think I'm not gonna say yeah. I'm almost there to say it, but not yet. So, I don't know what Fowler doing, but he said to me that there's a pattern in the rivalry, like maybe any rivalry, that if somebody owns you, like currently, like this century or something like that, you gotta.
I mean, everybody gets streaks and rivalries, Nate. I
Right.
mean, it happens in every rivalry.
Right. That's what I was trying to say. And at some point you gotta break it, like break the streak.
Yeah, I mean, Miami had to break their losing streak to Florida State. They lost 7 in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the year to do it. I mean, they're at home. They have probably the best quarterbacks and safeties they've had.
Wait,
in
Michigan or
Michigan.
oh yeah. Yeah, we have Dax Hill, we have Vincent Gray.
This is the year to do it if they're going to do
Yeah,
it.
and plus we had the best, not D line, I would say defensive edges duo, whoever it is. Like the duo with Ajabo and Hutchinson. That's what I'm trying to say. The duo in the defense.
Well, I mean, the recipe to beat Ohio State is the same for everybody. keep the ball out of their offensive hands.
Right.
Slow down the pace of the game, run the ball, keep away.
100%. Make it a, even if it's a 5-minute drive to get a field goal, just keep those receivers off the field.
And plus, Michigan has a really good kicker this year. Jake Moody, I think. He's like, I don't know how many kicks. Actually, he probably has 14 kicks right now, and it's probably more. He didn't miss at all this season, I think. I don't know, but if he hasn't missed, he probably got beat the Thorpe Award or whatever it is. But we do have a very good kicker. But so the one thing that Harvard needs not need to do is that just don't kick field goals every time, like at 4th and 1 or whatever. If you're short of the first down, don't kick field goals every time. Like if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, which is a stupid call that you can make, but
Well,
right.
not necessarily. I mean, especially if you're going to play Ohio State, you need points
Up
every
there.
opportunity.
right.
Hey guys, I'm back. I'm sorry. Anyone
No, you're
trying
good.
to get in, hop back on. I'll get you in. I'm sorry about that. I had to step away. So
Were you listening about it, or were you still on
no,
the phone?
I just got back in here. I had to
okay.
rotate some laundry and whatever.
Oh yeah, we were talking about if this is the year Michigan was going to beat Ohio State.
Oh,
And
for sure. I think that's they're just a better team than Ohio State is, in my opinion, if you ask me. And I mean, look, they got it lined up. I think. What's up, Vic?
Yes,
Yeah,
so was that the kicker that Harbaugh had the sleepover at his house, or was that someone?
What kind of joke is that?
Don't know.
Yeah, because I thought that there was a recruit that he had a sleepover at
no,
his house.
that's not
I
him.
mean, there was a recruit that had happened. I don't remember.
Yeah, and I think it was
I think it was Walter Nolan. I think I don't know.
Yeah, that there was someone who
Yeah.
Harbaugh had a sleepover with, and the next day, he committed or he flipped to Michigan.
Yeah, I think it was Damani Jackson or something. I don't know, because Michigan's recruiting is okay right now in 2022 class, but they need to do better. So yeah, Barry, remember that you said that there's a pattern in every rivalry in game. If there's like a streak, like a
Well, I mean, there's not necessarily a pattern. It's just in rivalries, some teams go on streaks.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Yeah, well, Tommy Tuberville beat Alabama 6 years in a row.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just thought about it. Said that something in some video that he made, but I might be wrong. But yeah, I think we're gonna take care of Maryland. I don't know.
Yeah, y'all should boat race to Maryland.
Yeah, but we shouldn't keep our eye on Ohio State right now, because they are, every time they do
They're
that, they
decent.
lose, like Michigan does. Every time they focus on Ohio State, when they have a game before that, they lose.
Yes, you gotta watch out for the trap game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a trap.
I don't have that one. No, I mean, look, if Ohio State, if they upset Michigan,
it's a trap,
right, and they beat them for what, the 9th year in a row. I mean,
Which is going to tie the longest
streak of the series.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be incredible for them.
But Michigan
But, I
goes.
mean,
Michigan goes 10-2. They lose to Ohio State. They go win a bowl game and finish 11-2. I don't know. I find it hard to get fired off of that.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
what about?
that'll be a good season though.
here's the thing, though, is that Harbaugh was hired because Michigan couldn't beat Ohio State.
Right.
Yeah, so what do you
Well,
think, Nate?
Harbaugh wasn't fired because just to beat Ohio State. I mean, Michigan was pretty terrible when Harbaugh first got there.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
golf.
Nate. So do you want Harbaugh fired? If y'all lose.
No, not right now. The way he's coaching right now, not right now. No. But if he loses like a game this year, to Ohio State, that'll be my last string of his hope or his era for me.
That would be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Well, second to that straw.
Okay.
Second.
Oh,
So-
okay. If they lose to Maryland and then lose to Ohio State.
No. What I mean is, if he loses to Ohio State this year, and then next year, I'm done with him. So
Whoa. Hey, so let me ask y'all this. I think we'll beat Arkansas this weekend. But let's say Alabama drops the Iron Bowl,
Ouch.
lays an egg again at Jordan Hare. Does
Sure.
that mean would it A&M?
No, if you beat Arkansas, you clinch the West.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Alabama would have to lose both games, and Ole Miss went out
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
for somebody else to get in.
That's right. No, I think it would be Ole Miss. Yeah.
A&M screwed up their shot of getting in.
You must be some kind of a dumbass.
The only way A&M is getting in is if Bama loses twice and Ole Miss loses once while they win out.
Yes.
That's what A&M needs, and that's not happening.
Yes.
I don't
Right.
think A&M's worried about it this year. I think next year, I mean, everybody knows the problems A&M has had this year is because
A&M is 4.
they lost that. Well, no, they're not. A&M's an elite defense, and they lost their starting quarterback. That's going to wreak havoc most of the time on any offense.
They have 3. And actually, they would need Ole Miss to lose 2 more. Also, because Ole Miss has.
Me personally, I think a healthy Texas A&M with their starting quarterback can give any team in America a run for their money.
Well, Texas A&M, they got a quarterback coming in. I think he's rated 2 in the class. I've seen this kid play live at a local high school game.
Mm-hmm.
Here, this kid is unbelievable. Like,
So better than Calzada. Okay.
oh yeah, this kid is like.
Which one? The
Well, see, we never got to see that 5-star that started the season either and got hurt in the very first game.
Haynes King.
Right. So Jimbo's not going anywhere. Any of these rumors, I mean, he's got Texas A&M's best class ever, and they're going to be totally fine at quarterback.
No, I don't think he's leaving. But no, I don't think he's leaving. But
I think that's their problem this year was quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, they're a top 10 defense, and
Calzada, the Italian hot pocket.
they've got an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman that are going to go in the first round every mock draft I've seen. So it's not like A&M is just some untalented team.
No, it's just injuries are part of the game, and sometimes injuries screw up your season.
Like if Kellen Mond had his 9th year to play this year, you know, they'd probably be where Alabama is, looking to get in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I got no faith in Kellen Mond. He's hot, he's cold. He's hot, he's cold.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, when Kellen Mond is on, he's great.
Yeah.
But I mean, It's like every other. It's like he takes a game off every other game.
His biggest problem was he wasn't accurate on the deep ball.
Yeah, I think people, and this is just my, I think people look at that a little too much, because even the best NFL quarterback is only about 55% on the deep ball.
Well, I'm just going off a few games. I've seen him play Alabama, and their receiver had our guy by 3 or 4 yards beat, and he's overthrowing him by 4 or 5 yards. You don't have to hit him right in the button, but you got to at least give the receiver a shot to, make a play.
Well, I wasn't talking about him specifically. I just mean in general.
Yeah.
People in my opinion, put a little too much emphasis on it because, like I said, your best deep ball threat in the NFL is like 54, 55%. So, they're, every other one they're hitting.
Yeah, you just got to put it in where your receiver can make a play and
this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, and who you're throwing it to also helps. Somebody like, just use as an example, Mike Evans is going to catch more than 55% of them, but he's also 6'5". So, if he lays out, even if it's overthrown by a few yards, he's still going to catch it.
Oh, well, that's the example I was going to use when Mike Evans played at A&M with Johnny Manziel. Mike Evans doesn't get a lot of credit. There's a lot of crazy plays that were made by Mike Evans to bail out Johnny Manziel. Mike Evans was amazing at A&M.
I don't agree at all.
Oh, God.
But yeah, A&M.
That's why I thought you used the Evans argument, because he went to A&M.
Oh, yeah.
This phone is already what the hell?
That's not me. Who is that? Yeah, Jeff, is that?
Remember this, fortune favors the brave.
Who's got the vibrator on?
Yeah, I think that was Jeff, because little circle was almost full. So I guess it was Jeff. This little audio thing that kind of, little circle that kind of, comes out when you're talking. So
Yeah. What about Manny Diaz? Well, they gonna keep him or what?
I doubt it. At least Miami fans don't think so. They're making a big deal about the university saying that they.
The verdict in the Kyle Rittenhouse double murder trial could come at any moment inside the
Howard, turn it down.
That's right.
They're making a big deal about the university's little PR stunt about firing the AD, supposedly, but the AD put out a month ago that he was leaving, so that was nothing more than a PR stunt by the university to try and save face.
okay. So what about you, Slim? Do you want Manny to be fired?
No, I don't think any coach should be fired in 3 years outside of them going 1-11 or 0-12, something like that.
Yeah, I think that young quarterback, they ought to give him another year.
Yeah. Yeah, though T2Y is ready to show Manny the door.
Well, and that's exactly why the Miami program's in the shape it's in. They're fixing to be on coach number 6 in 18 years.
Jesus. How did Mark Richt? How bad was Mark Richt for you guys?
He wasn't. He
He
won
wasn't?
9. games, and then
Well, it's 9
third year
wins,
they
10
went
wins.
7-5.
It's just
But that,
nothing's ever
Yeah,
good enough for
it was,
Miami.
it was 9 wins, 10 wins, 7 wins.
that's what I just said, Mike Vick.
Okay, sorry.
And I mean, the 7. I mean, if you're watching that season, you can see why it happened. They weren't getting any production out of either quarterback, and sometimes that's just the way it goes. Now, I do think with Mark Richt going public with the Parkinson's diagnosis makes me believe the retirement story that much more. Because there was all the rumors at the time that he got run out. He was told to do this or that, either that or leave. But the fact that, the very next year he had a heart attack, and then the year after that he comes out with the Parkinson's diagnosis. I think he knew he had health problems then, and that's why he retired.
Yeah. No, he was a really good coach. I mean, 2012. I mean, that SEC championship game was the national championship game. Everybody knew either team was going to blow out Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And he was that close to getting there.
Yeah.
And I still think he probably could have if he had stayed. I mean, just because he hadn't done it yet in his career doesn't. I mean, Bobby Bowden, it took him 7 years to win one. Joe Paterno, I think, even longer. I mean, there's. I think something that's overlooked a lot is it's not just coaching and skill that wins you a national title. It's also luck.
Yeah.
And I mean, even based off of their track record since Mark Richt has left, I think luck is one of those ingredients that might be missing with Georgia.
Yeah, I know.
Now, when you say luck, that's not a stab like they got lucky by winning it. That's just like things just go their way, right?
It's the exact opposite. They're unlucky. Things haven't gone their way.
No, I'm just saying, like you're saying in general, for a team to win a title, it takes a little bit of luck. Like things need to fall in your favor.
The ball needs to bounce your way.
Yeah.
You need your opponent to make mistakes sometimes to pull out. I mean, it's the way it goes.
I mean, Georgia was 10 yards and 1 second away from a national championship pretty much in 2012.
And they were an overtime play or whatever away
in
17. And that was it. That's all they've – I mean,
that's why I can't pick Georgia to win it all this year. Do they look like the best team in America? Yeah. But you got to finish it.
Yes, that's what we mean by luck. We mean like the 2nd and 26, or the prayer and Jordan Hare and the kick 6 that at least got Auburn.
Hey, leave that one out of this.
They didn't win it though. Yes,
I mean,
that's what Slim means.
The kick 6 is a perfect example.
Oh,
I mean,
for sure.
There's a whole lot of luck just for that play to work.
There was 2013 Auburn was based on luck. Think about it. You talk about 2 key plays against your rivals back-to-back weeks in November like that. Oh my God!
Oh, that Georgia game.
Luck. You think about how Florida State beat them in the title game. You
had to come back in the second half to win that game. Auburn was dominating.
Came down to the wire.
That crazy catch in the Georgia game, I mean, that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
What about 2017 with Hunter Renfrow caught the touchdown?
Okay, well that wasn't really luck. But...
I mean, it kind of. I'd say
I wouldn't call that luck because Hunter Renfrow had been burning y'all all night.
Well, that game, it was just Alabama's defense wore out. They
wore out in that fourth quarter.
Clemson's offense.
It was now okay. You got to remember before that touchdown, there was a penalty flag that got them closer to the end zone.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
there was a PI.
Clemson's offense had 99 plays in that game. Alabama's defense just got wore out because I think we were something crazy like our third down conversions were awful. Jalen Hurts would just roll out and throw it out of bounds every play. But actually, going into that fourth quarter, Clemson only had 14 points. They did all their stuff in the fourth quarter. I mean, it's hard for any defense. I mean, what's a NFL average play? Well, is it like 60 plays per game in NFL?
In college, it's more around 80. A lot of teams are running, 70, 80 plays a game.
Yeah, so that Renfro play was play number 99, that Renfro touchdown.
That one too. I mean, you can also probably chalk that one up, and I've heard Nick Saban say this a lot. You might be able to chalk that one up to Clemson just wanted it more.
Yeah. And you get that sometimes when you win a title the year before. That's why it's so hard to win back.
This one.
It's so hard to win back-to-back natties because you'll have a lot of players that already have a natty, and they got their foot out the door.
As fans watch the Wildcats mount a fourth quarter comeback.
Y'all remember the Bluegrass?
Taylor Bakley field goal to put Kentucky up.
Yeah, what are you doing? You're gonna get
down. The fans, they went wild. The players, sensing victory.
They're gonna play in a video in the middle of a conversation.
Oh, we were just talking about like luck and all that in college football. I was showing an example.
Okay, yes,
but your
we are
video right over the top of people talking.
Sorry.
Ballard.
Carry on.
Jeez, Ballard. Manner. But I mean, I know what you mean, LW. I mean, look at Miami and O2. They couldn't finish it off and win that second one in a row.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Saban's talked about it before. You can look at the 2010 team, what they brought back from 2009. It's just when some of these young players they get the ring, and then they got their foot out the door, start thinking about the NFL. It's just, and I think you see that with Alabama. Some of their defensive players, they're just not playing as well. Pretty solid defense, but you can't make a 19, 20-year-old kid want it.
Yeah.
Where Georgia, on the other hand, those guys are frothing at the mouth.
Yeah. And I mean, that could be your downfall too. You can want it too much, and that can lead to you making a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, my big thing about Georgia, I've got to see them get over that Alabama hump. and I'll use Clemson as an example. Georgia doesn't make it to the playoffs every year, so is that stage going to get to them? Because, I mean, look at Clemson. They made the playoffs, 3 years before they finally won it?
2 years, I think.
It was 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And that first one, a lot of times you can chalk up to it's too big a stage for them. They got nervous, got the jitters. Georgia's not exempt from that. Those are the things I've got to see before I can say, okay, yeah, because I mean, at this point, there's nobody left from that 2017 team.
Right. Well, Georgia, they seem dialed in. You know, we'll see what happens. But
And of course,
I just,
mean they're not working for a dynasty or nothing, but I mean they're working for, you know,
Well,
just
they're working to start their own.
right.
I mean, Kirby's so young that, I mean, he could pull off, you know, a dynasty for sure. If the recruiting ratings tell you anything, I mean, at his age, they're not going anywhere for a while.
All I know is I ain't got nothing to look forward to for the next few years. Because I mean,
Me neither.
the chances that Miami's going to come in and hire somebody that's going to make an immediate impact is about zero.
Yeah, I think it.
Yeah, the
I think-
chances are very slim.
See what you did there, man.
That's funny.
I think it'd be a big mistake to fire Diaz. I think you got to give him a shot with this young quarterback, and you know, if they do the same shit next year, then you can let him go. But I don't see what a new coach is going to do. A new coach will probably just take advantage of what Manny Diaz is probably going to do next year.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to agree with you, but I mean, unfortunately, you know, college doesn't tend to work like the NFL, and you can change the head coach, and you know that could be the formula, something they bring in. But I mean,
Yeah.
in college, whenever you change your head coach, you're changing the entire coach. A lot of times, you know, in the NFL, when you're changing coach, you're not necessarily changing the entire staff.
Yeah, good example. You can look at Alabama this year. New offensive coordinator, new offensive line, and all of a sudden, Alabama can't run the ball that well. You know,
Yeah. No, of course. I mean, you know, we talk about like, you know, when we talk about teams tanking to get the franchise guy in the NFL draft and all that, you can't be doing that you can't do that in college. They're gonna go to a school like you want to get the best recruit. Well, the only way you're going to get the best recruit really is to be the best program or one of the best programs. So I mean, you know, teams out
Not
there that are.
necessarily.
What do you say?
I said not necessarily. I mean, Oregon wasn't considered one of the best programs, but I mean, Mario
Yeah.
Cristobal is the best recruiter in the nation for a reason. And he's pulled in a top 5 class basically every year he's been there.
yeah.
That's true.
And look how quick Saban turned Alabama around. I mean, Alabama went through a 20-year. They had an SEC title in '99, but it was pretty much a 20-year of mediocrity. And I mean, within 2 years, he had a Heisman Trophy winner and Julio Jones.
Mark Ingram.
Yeah, Mark Ingram and Julio Jones.
Well,
Julio. Okay.
I think that had
No, I'm
a
not
lot.
saying Julio won a Heisman. I've said they had
okay.
Heisman and Julio
You're saying
Jones.
like caliber, right?
Yeah.
I think that had a lot to do with in the state of Florida at the time, if you want my honest opinion on it. Because Miami was where they were, because Florida State was where they were. And, you know, very quickly on, when Saban got there, Florida peaked and started, you know, their decline. I think Nick Saban got to Alabama at just the right time to take advantage of the state of Florida. Excuse me, and the shape all 3 major programs were in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows what Florida would have kept doing if Urban Meyer's quote unquote health problems didn't arise.
Well, I mean, like I said, you had already seen Florida basically peak, and you know, who did they have behind Tebow as a decent quarterback? Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And when both Miami and Florida State are down, I mean, even when all three programs are up, they can't get all the talent. There's too much.
No, I mean, you can only sign 25 to 28 players, and how many players are in Florida every year?
Oh, good God! I know
Thousands and thousands.
Now, I think they're fixing to change that, though. I think they're fixing to change that limit, or at the very least, I think they should.
Yeah, it's unfair that players can transfer, but you don't get those scholarships back.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's going to change, because transferring is so much more prevalent now than it was even 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see them up the number of players they can bring in each class.
I mean, Alabama's had 3 cornerbacks and 3 running backs transfer in, July and August. I mean, that's 6 scholarships you don't get back.
Rick says Kirby's the best recruiter. No, not even. I mean, he's great, and he's one of the top. But, I mean, come on. Saban, you cannot look down the road at what Alabama has coming in and then look at Kirby and say, oh, he's the best recruiter.
I think you're both wrong. I still say it's Mario Cristobal, and he's got several National Recruiter of the Year awards to prove it.
They're all great recruiters. I mean, Alabama's best recruiters under Saban were Cristobal, Mel Tucker, and Kirby Smart. That's why I don't hate Georgia as much as, Georgia fans hate Alabama. Kirby was a great defensive coordinator, brought a lot of recruits, won national championships.
Oh, believe me, I know I come on here, I got a lot of love and respect for Georgia and Kirby, but, Georgia fans are just all over, we're going to finish what Kirby set out to do. He came here to do this and blah, blah. Look, they're going to win a title this year. I think Georgia's just having that. They are in the position of 2019 LSU. The only difference is that they're not going to have the fallout that LSU did. They're going to take a step back. They're going to lose some players after this year. Yeah, they recruit great, but this whole, and I'm sick and tired of hearing this whole, Kirby built Bama's defense and Kirby did this, Kirby did that. Saban had defenses long before Kirby Smart did and came to Tuscaloosa. I don't know where he came from, but, he showed up at Tuscaloosa. Saban built Kirby Smart and helped with his,
Well, I mean, you do realize that Kirby was Saban's defensive coordinator when he got hired at Alabama.
Right.
Yeah, I think he coached, I can't remember his LSU title. Muschamp was the D coordinator. Kirby was either the cornerback or linebacker coach. So he was with Saban a long, long time.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, when Saban leaves, I do think Alabama fans need to be looking over their shoulder waiting on a shoe to drop, because I get Saban's an experienced coach. I get Saban was even a pretty good recruiter when he was at LSU. But he was not the world beater coach at LSU that.
Oh, no, not at all.
At Alabama. And I can't help but wonder where it's come from.
Well, he was only at LSU. He wasn't there that long. I mean, he was only there, what, 4 years?
5 years, 4 years, something, 4 or 5 years.
Well, like I live in a county with 5 million people. The entire state of Alabama only has 5 million people, but people don't realize that, Julio Jones. There's a lot of, not the quantity of Florida and Texas, obviously, because it's a small state, but that was Alabama's problem. The great players in the state were either going to Auburn or out of state. So one big thing Saban did was he kept the best Alabama players home. That's where it really changed.
I get that, but when he was at LSU, wasn't a world beater like he is now, or like he has been. I mean, like he has been in his whole tenure at Alabama.
Right.
And that one national title he did get at LSU before he bolted for the NFL. I mean, he didn't outright win that, and my opinion, USC has a very valid claim to that national title.
Well, all you can do is play within the rules, and they put him in the national championship game. I agree with you, but I mean, it is what it is.
Oh yeah, I mean Miami got caught that same way in 2000.
And it was
head to head, but they put Florida State in over us, and I mean, okay.
And the way it used to be, like you just had to get lucky to have 1 and 2 play each other. Like in '92, that just worked out because what was Miami? They were in the what conference was that?
That was the Big East. They had joined the
Big East.
Year.
Yeah, Big East was at large, so they could go to different. Alabama was locked into the Sugar Bowl, and it just worked out that year that it was Miami. They could go to any bowl where you had a 1 and 2. Most years you'd have 1 versus 3 and 2 versus 5 or something bowl games, and people would just vote on it. So there's many titles many titles you can go back and say, was this team really the best team?
Oh yeah, that could be claimed for. I mean, at least one of Miami's I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, I got it.
83 when they beat Nebraska. Miami was 4, Nebraska was 1.
Yeah.
No. I'm good. Hey guys, I got something I'm going to, so I gotta head out here. I gotta leave. I got something at 5. So.
All right, brother.
All right. Catch y'all later. See ya.
All right, brother.
See you, Slim. All right. Appreciate y'all coming on today, hanging out with me, talking some sports. Saban built Kirby Smart. That's all I had to get off my chest and say there. Hate Week's coming next week. Alabama has Arkansas this Saturday. But, of course, Thanksgiving next week. And with that comes rivalry weekend, the Iron Bowl. A lot of stuff coming next week. Going to be trash talking Auburn. Give them some credit, though. We'll get all kinds of stuff out. I got no classes. I'll have to work a couple days, but work around the work schedule, get some great content out for you. Love you guys. Jesus loves you. Keep your head up. As always, have an amazing weekend. God bless. And as always, folks.
Roll down Tide.
Roll Tide, roll. Love y'all.
Come on, son.
Well, no fucking shit.